Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to staying informed, hopefully with a few interesting facts and maybe just enough humor to keep you listening.
Absolutely.
Look, if you feel like artificial intelligence is just moving at this, I don't know, dizzying speed,
Yeah.
you're definitely not wrong.
Not at all. Things change day by day, sometimes hour by hour.
Exactly. And today, August 8th, 2025,
Uh-oh.
is a perfect example. So we're going deep into the very latest AI updates. We've got a stack of recent news, mostly from the Indian Express, like really fresh stuff.
Hot off the press.
Right. Our mission. To quickly unpack what is happening right now, we're talking new models, their capabilities, the impact on jobs, daily life, and of course the ethics questions popping up.
It's a lot to cover.
It is. But by the end, you should have a pretty solid grip on this whole fast-moving landscape.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The biggest news has to be OpenAI. They've just unveiled GPT-5. They're calling it their most powerful model yet. What's really new here?
Yeah, this is a big one. What grabs me isn't just like a small step up. They're talking significantly stronger reasoning, much better coding abilities, and even improved health insights.
Okay.
And Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO, he put it pretty strongly. He said with this, one person has never been able to do more in history, which is quite a statement.
That is quite a statement. It's not just about power, but reach.
Exactly. It's about democratizing these really advanced capabilities. Think about one person, maybe a researcher, a small startup, suddenly able to tackle things that needed whole teams before. That's a huge shift.
Wow.
It also has a much larger context window. Think of it like the AI's short-term memory, right? So it can remember more from your conversation or from a big document. It understands complex stuff better, handles longer tasks without forgetting the beginning, much better for big projects.
And crucially,
They're rolling it out to all users. That includes the free tier.
that's huge, making that level of AI so widely available. But, okay, OpenAI isn't doing this in a vacuum. Who else is dropping major models? What's the competition doing?
Oh, definitely not in a vacuum. Anthropic just released Claude Opus 4.1. That's a major upgrade for them.
Okay.
They're really focusing on sharper reasoning, better real-world coding, and boosting their benchmark scores.
Right.
And then you've got Google, their Gemini 2.5 Deep Think model. That's now available for their AI Ultra subscribers.
Deep think. What's the angle there?
Google's highlighting its use for things like iterative development and design, complex science and math problems, and again, coding and algorithms. These big players are really pushing each other hard.
They really are. It feels like a constant back and forth at that top level.
Yeah.
But it's not just about these like giant general purpose models, is it?
Right.
Are there more specialized, almost kind of mind-boggling AI things emerging too?
That's a great point. Yeah, we're seeing some really interesting specialized tools like Manus's Wide Research. That's a multi-agent AI tool.
Multi-agent.
Meaning, so instead of just one AI trying to do everything, imagine a team of different AI bots. Each one has its own specialty, right?
Okay.
And they collaborate on a complex problem, kind of like a team of human experts would.
I see. Okay.
It allows for much more sophisticated results, whether it's analysis or creative work. And then there's stuff like Fable Studio's Showrunner.
Wait, Showrunner, what does that do?
Get this, it can apparently generate entire episodes of TV shows.
You're kidding. Like script, animation, everything.
That's what they claim. From script to screen, basically. It just shows how broad the innovation is now, way beyond just language.
Generating TV shows. That genuinely blows my mind. What, for you, is the most maybe unexpected or even slightly unsettling innovation you're seeing right now?
I think it's just the speed these specialized things are popping up. They often build on the core breakthroughs of the big models, you know?
Wow.
It feels like the foundation's down, and now everyone's building these completely new structures on top, often in ways we just didn't anticipate.
That makes sense. Okay, so these advances, they're not just abstract computer science. They're really changing how we interact with tech, how we work. Let's talk coding first. What's the future looking like there?
Well, connecting back to that GitHub CEO, Thomas Dohmke, he has a pretty bold prediction.
Go on.
He basically says future developers won't code, but instead they'll manage AI agents that do the coding for them.
Manage AI agents.
Yeah, and this isn't like far-off sci-fi. He says most developers expect AI to generate something like 90% of their code in the next few years.
90%.
Yeah.
Just let that sink in.
Why?
It really makes you think what programmer even means in, say, 5 years.
Exactly.
What's the biggest shift there, do you think? Beyond just the typing. Are developers worried about losing control or maybe not understanding the code itself?
That's the key question, isn't it? It shifts the skills needed. Less about syntax, more about high-level design, breaking down problems, and crucially, prompt engineering.
Asking the AI the right questions.
Precisely. Knowing how to guide the AI to get the code you actually want, there are definitely concerns about losing that deep feel for the code, but the promise is just massively faster development.
Okay. And speaking of interaction, Microsoft's got some pretty futuristic ideas too, right? Beyond coding.
They do. They put out this video. It imagines a future Windows, maybe in the next 5 years, where AI agents completely replace the keyboard and mouse.
Whoa. So just talking to your computer. Gestures?
Seems like it. A total rethink of the interface, more natural language, maybe gestures. But more immediately, Microsoft Copilot users are already getting free access to GPT-5.
Okay. How does that work?
Through a new smart mode. It can apparently think deeply or quickly based on the task, so it adapts the AI's power based on what you need right then. More dynamic help.
Interesting. So we're talking huge shifts in work interaction. This obviously brings up the job market question. What's the broader impact looking like?
Well, Microsoft actually just put out a study on this. It reveals which jobs are, most affected and least affected by AI.
And what's the takeaway? Is it just automation replacing people?
The key insight seems to be it's less about pure automation and more about augmentation.
Augmentation, meaning AI helps humans.
Right. Jobs needing lots of emotional intelligence, complex problem solving in messy situations, creative strategy, they seem more resilient. Repetitive, rule-based tasks, highly susceptible.
Makes sense.
So it's not just jobs vanishing, but jobs changing, demanding new skills like managing AI or prompt engineering. It really makes you think about your own industry, doesn't it? What opportunities or challenges does this bring for your role?
Absolutely. It's not just work and productivity, though. AI is also kind of creeping into our personal lives, sometimes in surprising ways. I saw something about AI companions, especially with teens, that, well, it made me stop and think. What's the story there?
Yeah, this is fascinating and maybe a bit concerning. There's a recent study showing that over 70% of teenagers are turning to AI chatbots for companionship.
70%. Wow.
And half of those are using AI companions regularly. It really makes you ask why. Is it loneliness? A need for non-judgmental chat? Some new kind of digital connection? It's become such a trend that OpenAI is actually promoting healthy use. They're adding mental health updates and reminders into their platforms, acknowledging, the psychological side of this.
That's a really interesting, maybe complex intersection of tech and psychology.
Yeah.
And it's not just software, right? We're seeing actual AI hardware, too.
Exactly. Like Brilliant Labs' new Halo smart glasses, they're calling them the world's thinnest AI-powered smart glasses.
Halo glasses, what do they do?
The idea is they can remember things for you, maybe build apps on the fly.
Yeah.
Basically bringing AI right into your field of vision, your daily interactions.
Okay, let's pivot a bit to the challenges, because with all this speed and integration, there are definitely some serious concerns. What about the impact on, say, web content, information online?
Right. This is a big one for the future of the internet. There's this major debate going on about Google Search's new AI summaries.
The AI overviews.
Exactly. Publishers are really worried. They fear this could lead to a, quote, collapse in web traffic to their actual websites, if Google gives the answer directly.
Why click the link?
Precisely. Google, of course, rejects this. They say quality clicks are on the rise. But it's a fundamental clash over how AI mediates information and, frankly, who makes money.
Yeah, that's a huge disagreement. Google says quality clicks. Publishers fear for their livelihood. Is there any middle ground emerging, or is it just becoming AI as the gatekeeper versus the content creators?
It's definitely complex and still shaking out. Publishers want payment, clearer attribution if AI uses their content. Google argues it's improving the user experience. It's this tension between creation and aggregation, and it's far from sorted out.
Okay. And it's not just how we get information. There's this whole bot problem too, right?
Right. The whole Perplexity versus Cloudflare thing is a perfect example. Cloudflare is basically saying AI bots are getting smarter, finding new ways to sneak past website defenses.
How are they different from older bots?
They're much better at mimicking actual human behavior online. That makes them way harder to spot and block compared to the simpler web scrapers we used to see. And kind of related, OpenAI recently turned off the feature that lets search engines index shared ChatGPT conversations. That was a privacy worry for a lot of people.
Right, okay. So the digital infrastructure itself is feeling the strain. And speaking of infrastructure, what about the environmental cost of all this AI power?
Yeah, this is getting critical. Here's something really interesting. Google actually made an agreement to cut back its power use for AI data centers during peak demand times.
To help the U.S. power grid.
Exactly, to ease the strain when demand surges. It really highlights this growing issue. AI is incredibly energy hungry. Training these huge models takes immense power.
So Google's throttling its AI sometimes.
Essentially, yes. These are the first formal agreements Google has made in these demand response programs. They've basically promised utility companies they'll scale back machine learning work during peak energy hours. It's a big step towards managing AI's footprint and stopping grids from being overloaded.
Wow, okay. Clearly there's fierce competition driving a lot of this. What does that look like behind the scenes? Sounds like an AI arms race.
Oh, it absolutely is. The fight for AI talent is just incredibly aggressive. We're talking lucrative compensation packages, really big money for top people.
I bet.
OpenAI, for instance, is apparently eyeing a valuation somewhere near $500 billion in a potential employee share sale.
$500 billion.
Potentially. And beyond money, you see big strategic moves. Apple's formed a whole new team just to build a ChatGPT-like app. They're playing catch-up in AI search.
Right.
And you even see direct competitive blocking. Like Anthropic stopped OpenAI from accessing its Claude model via API just before GPT-5 launched. They cited terms of service violations, but the timing
is interesting. It's about locking down market share, protecting IP.
Yeah.
Intense.
Totally. It's fierce.
And with these super powerful tools emerging, what about access? Is anything being done to make sure it's not just for people who can afford expensive subscriptions?
That's a really critical point, the equity aspect. OpenAI is actually considering a cheaper Go plan.
A Go plan?
Yeah, for ChatGPT users who, can't shell out for ChatGPT Plus. They might even announce it alongside GPT-5. That could really broaden access.
That would be a positive step.
Yeah.
And it feels like the world is waking up to the need for AI literacy. There's a big trend in AI education happening.
Yes, definitely. Look at India, for example. They've seen a 107% jump in people enrolling in generative AI courses.
Wow, over double.
Yeah, although globally there's